Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Roser here today with Corey Lambert Jr., standout athlete, particularly patrolling the back end of that secondary for Brother Martin, heading into his senior year or I guess now started his senior year, and one of Louisiana's most recent commitments, announcing on Saturday a decision to commit to the Nevada Wolfpack for this 2022 class. Corey, we've been talking about linking this up for a while, just kind of catching up on how the summer went and obviously starting a new season. We had a chance to see each other over at Dutchtown on Thursday. But how's everything been going overall? It's been obviously a weird few weeks or so gearing up for this thing, but an exciting past few days at least.
Is there summer wise, after track season, well, I had to do track most of my time, but like after track I would do my football work still. So it was straight work every day. Conditioning, a lot of conditioning, lifting, technique and everything like that. Um, yeah, it's basically all of that. Doing visits. I went to a couple, maybe a little bit of camps, a couple camps, visits, everything like that. But other than that, I was either at home or I was in the weight room on a football field getting working every all summer year.
Yeah, and I mentioned you committed to Nevada this week, and we'll come back to, I guess, that ultimate decision. But you mentioned kind of the juggling act of this summer and finishing up track and taking on football work and making sure to keep at your craft there, as well as getting a chance to visit some of those schools. When things opened on June 1st, it was the first time for a lot of you guys to really be able to get out there and enjoy the recruiting process the way that we had typically seen. COVID had shut it down for about 15 months. What was that process like for you to actually finally get a chance to get out there, take some visits, get to some camps and things? How exciting was that, and how helpful was that to make a decision eventually?
Well, it was more gratifying. I'm sure I could say that for a lot of people, being able to like experience the fruits of your labor. You know, like you've done all this work in high school, you competed for your team, you've done really good in your sport, and now you're able to like experience what everybody before you got to experience. Maybe not the other two classes, but everybody before that got to experience. So I think it's more of a gratifying experience, everybody getting to experience the fruits of their labor and everything like that.
What were some of the places you were able to hit during that open portion of the summer? I know you took the trip out west and had a chance to go see what the Wolfpack had to offer, but you had a lot of scholarship offers coming into the summer and picked up a few more along the way. What other stops were you able to make on your travels?
I was able to go to Mississippi State. I went to LSU. It's close to home. Most of the other visits I'm probably going to do during the season and during this year, like during the school year, to be able to get like a game experience and everything like that. And after the senior season and all that, just getting everything scheduled with our games and everything like so, yes, sir.
And mentioning some of the other offers you had, we had talked about Illinois, Purdue, Duke, Air Force, and Army and the service academies, some Ivy Leagues in Yale and Princeton, McNeese State, another school in state, among that long list of offers. When you talk to those coaching staffs, what were some of the things that they told you had really kind of caught their eye and made them know that they wanted you to be a part of their programs at the next level if they could get you?
Well, it was a lot to do with like my athleticism, instincts. You can see like the game IQ, like in on the film. You can see like IQ reads, coming down and run support was a big check mark. Um, Being able to cover pass game. A lot of people wanted to see how I play man, and but the run game, I would say that was probably one of the biggest check marks for a lot of people, seeing me come down and fit like a linebacker and everything like that.
Yeah, a lot of times there's kind of like a question mark for physicality, like how much do guys like that contact, particularly DBs? Do they like to tackle? And that doesn't really seem like it's ever been an issue for you. How much do you enjoy that part of the game, just coming down and mixing it up?
Well, I mean, it's football. It's 11 on 11, padded football. I don't have a problem with that. I feel like it just adds to my game, makes me more versatile if I could come down and run support. But I mean, and play back and cover and everything like that. I just feel like I'm not like a DB that's just gonna sit back all day. Like I could come down and help my team in any way I can. So
What were some of the things that, as you talked to some of those coaching staffs, you were trying to find out about their programs or their universities or anything like that, that were just kind of factors for you that you knew you wanted to find out more about everyone you talked to?
One of the biggest things was my major. I wanted to know if they would would that conflict with football, if like because my major, like the two majors that I'm really looking at right now is computer science and engineering, something in the engineering field, and I wanted to know if that would interfere with everything in football. And one of the other biggest things was like a home away from home, somewhere where I'm not just ripping and running, always trying to get back to home because I don't feel like that's good for me. Comfortability, fit. How do I fit there? Not just football wise, but also when football is not going on academic wise and socially and everything like that. So I feel like that's the biggest ones to me.
What felt right about Nevada that would be the place that kind of lived up to those expectations to commit to right now?
Well, when we went out there, it was a beautiful place. A lot of great scenery, great people. It's a safe place. It was yeah, from what we heard, it was a safe place where we experienced safe. Um, Football wise, it was great. The football wise was great. Academic wise, it was great. That was really what my mom wanted to know about academics wise. That side, she doesn't really like know anything about football, but the academics, they really sold her on the academics part. Socially, I feel like I could fit in there. Campus wise, everything was just great to me. It was really nice. Yeah.
Foot,
The city was nice too.
Football wise, does everyone consider you, do they look at you as being able to fit that kind of versatile role? Does anyone have any of the schools, and I guess specifically the Wolfpack, do they talk to you at all about potentially moving up to a more full-time in the box role, or they like the idea of having you as a piece they can move around that defense?
I think a lot of teams want to, like, including Nevada, want to move me down to strong safety and not necessarily just keep me there, but rotate still at free, but a lot like not more strong safety now, outside linebacker, those type of positions, boundary safety. A lot of teams want to do that now.
Yeah, especially I guess the way the game has evolved, it's always interesting to see how guys fit compared to what it would have been maybe traditionally 10 years ago or so. Just the way the evolution of spread offenses and defenses reacting to that.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
On the academic side, you mentioned that interest in sort of the engineering and computer science type realm. What drew you to your intended majors? What's kind of the thought process there and potential long-term game plan past football?
Well, engineering is more like it takes a calculated thinker, in my opinion. I feel like that's something I am, a calculated thinker. It's like it's really a process making things like that. Um, Also, really, like, to be honest, the salary and everything like that too, that really intrigued me. The amount of money that they make in computer science too. But with computer science, it's more something that's like evolving now, and it's really more needed than almost any other job. Well, just as much as any other job. Like, people who are good with that type of stuff, they're needed now more than ever. So yeah.
I mentioned you started this season now, and we talk a lot about just the individual work on your craft and whatnot of the summer and getting a chance to see some of these schools and look at that next level. You've started your last year at Brother Martin. Y'all had a fantastic season last year that ended a little bit shorter than you had hoped in the semifinals. What was the conversation like for you guys as a team throughout this off season and now finally getting a chance to kick it off?
Well, actually, well, the mindset was always the same. The day after we were back to work, we watched the film of what we did. It was really no off days. It was actually the next day we got back in, we watched film of what we did. We needed to correct, said our goodbyes. Everybody went to the sports that they needed to. We took maybe a week or two break, and then we were back to it, lifting like we always do. So I don't think the mindset's really changed. I feel like we all knew what we wanted to do. We knew we fell short. We knew we let people, well, not really let people down. We let ourselves down more than anything because we don't really worry about like the outside look, but we let ourselves down, and we knew we did that. We knew we never wanted that feeling again, especially me. So after that 2 weeks, after that 2 week break, it's been constant work since. And we never stopped after that. So
With guys like you or Garrett or anyone in y'all's class who have played for several years there now, is there like a sense of urgency that you guys in terms of completing that mission? We talked so much last year about how special that team was and the opportunity that was there. Do you feel that kind of heightened now, knowing that this is the last ride sort of thing?
Yeah, we talk about that every day. We talked about that ever since that Catholic game ended. Even before that Catholic game, we talked about like it wasn't we'll win our senior year. Like we don't care about our seniors this year. We'll win our senior year. Now it was always like we want to win now. I feel like that's the good thing about Garrett and the guys on our team. Like I feel like all of those guys are winners. Like they have that mentality, that winner's mindset. Especially Garrett, probably one of the biggest competitors I've ever been around. He has that winner's mindset, I feel like. And it's great working with guys like that who all around you have that win now mentality. We're not worried about the future. Our young guys, senior year, we're worried about right now, winning right now, and then winning in the future too. But we want it right now. So
You might have hit on some of this, I guess, but when you look at the things that went well last year versus things that you'd like to see be better this year, including that ending on it, what are the biggest aspects of last year's team and last year's success that you can carry into this year and know that you need to kind of replicate versus what do you learn, lessons you learned from last year that can make this year have that better end result?
well, last year you were at the games. You saw like the defense. It wasn't there. Like we were in games. Like I remember one game was like 52-46. So that's just not good football in our opinion. We feel like the standing that we hold ourselves to, that's not what we strive for. So that was probably our number one focus this year. Our defense. How do we get that back to where it used to be? And I feel like the guys in our defense, like I told you in the interview, I feel like the guys in our defense play with a much bigger chip on their shoulder now, considering how like we pretty much got embarrassed last year every game, well, almost every game. And so it was more of a like we never want that feeling again. So let's give other people that feeling, and like we don't want that feeling anymore. It was more of like that, and I feel like controlling the controllables, like our coach says, uh, still dealing with COVID and everything, the pandemic, and then Hurricane Ida stopped two of our games. So it was more of like adapting to change and how to fight through and our biggest thing, like our number one thing this year is finish. Like we need to finish the objective, get over that last part and finish. So
I meant to ask you too, when we were talking about the college stuff, you mentioned wanting to get some visits in for some games this fall. What are some of the stops you're hoping to potentially catch over the next couple months while these college teams are playing on Saturdays?
I want to I'm gonna get to one of the Mississippi State games, one of the LSU games, LA Tech, Iowa State. I'm pretty sure I'm getting to one of their games. Air Force, Army, places like that. I'm trying to get to one of the Ivy League games, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, one of those games, well, a couple of those games. Nevada, obviously, trying to get to one of those games. Yeah, Illinois, trying to get to one of those games. Nothing's set in stone right now. We're trying to schedule everything around football and all of that.
Yeah, you're gonna have a busy fall trying to get to a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's a bad thing though. I feel like that's a good problem to have. Well, a better problem to have. Yeah.
What's the energy been like around the house the last few days or the last week since you knew you were gonna make a college announcement?
It was like they were waiting on me. Like they were letting me have the decision, letting me tell everybody, letting me let everybody know first. Yeah, they mostly everybody, they like my parents and everything, they just left it more in my hands. They let me make my decision, and they just stayed back and like they stood on the sideline and watched and everything like that, watched it all unfold.
I'll give you a chance to talk a little bit more about little bro too. Folks have been watching you and saw him start to really come on strong last year, and I know there's an expectation for another big year for him, kind of toting the ball in the backfield on offense and having a breakout opportunity on that side of the ball. What should folks expect to see from him as he continues to grow up another year now here?
Well, I think it's more of the expectation that he has for himself. Like I've always expected him to do that. I don't feel like anything he's done right now is something that I've surprised about. I mean, it's obviously great stuff that he's doing, but I've never been surprised about. I feel like everything that he's done, he's expected to do and more and some. And by the people in our building and the people outside our building, I feel like they should expect even more out of him. I don't feel like they should be surprised about anything he does. I feel like it's always supposed to be expected what he's doing because I feel like he's that type of caliber player. So.
Good deal, man. Well, I appreciate you. Glad we had a chance to talk about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
You got it. And Corey and the Crusaders will be facing my high school, Jesuit, next week in their second game of the season. So that's going to be one to watch in that Catholic League down in New Orleans. Again, he's Corey Lambert Jr., standout senior for Brother Martin, trying to finish the big mission that those guys have had in mind these past few years here in his final year wearing those colors. And now the newest commitment to Nevada for that 2022 class. And for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser.